In this video, we continue our SolidWorks Basics series. In this lesson, we will practice the boundary tool. First, let's create a simple example. Let's start by creating a sketch. Then I'll make it a solid. We'll extrude it with a 20mm thickness. To use boundary, you need at least one profile section, so I'll sketch a cross-section. A simple rectangular profile, like this. I want this rectangle centered on the base, so I'll add the right relations. I'll add a vertical relation to the origin, then we can dimension it. For example, set this to 60mm and this one to 40mm. Exit the sketch. On the right plane, start a sketch. Draw a circle here. Set the diameter to 55mm. Then we can define its position. Set this distance to 110mm. And set the distance to this edge as well. For example, 200mm. All right. Now we need two guide paths for the boundary feature. We can create them with two 3-point arcs. I'll sketch two arcs here. Make the arcs tangent to the circle. And create another arc over here. Now we can define the radii. Set this radius to 160mm and this one to 250mm. And we want the end of the path to land on the width of the rectangle. So add the required relation, then exit the sketch. Now let's give that circle a solid. Click it. Choose Extruded Boss/Base. Set end condition to mid-plane. Give it some thickness. Now we can use the boundary tool. Click Boundary. You can define direction 1 and direction 2. For direction 1, select the rectangular profile. For direction 2, select the two guide curves. Then click OK. As you see, SolidWorks blends the rectangle along the paths and connects to the cylinder. That is the basic workflow for the boundary feature. Next, I want to show you Extruded Cut so we can remove these sketches. Delete this feature in the tree. Also delete the extrude we just created. Delete this sketch as well. And delete the rectangle sketch too. Now, Extruded Cut is basically the opposite of Extruded Boss. Let's create a hole in this solid. Start a sketch on this face. Draw a circle here. Set the hole diameter. For example, 20mm. Set the offset from this line to 30mm. And set the offset from this edge to 40mm. Now let's use Extruded Cut. The interface is very similar to Extruded Boss. We already know these settings. Let me quickly show you one more useful point. You can start the cut from a different face. For example, pick this face. Now the cut starts from that selected face. So you can create the cut starting from that side. So yes, it behaves like an extrude, but it removes material. Now let's review the end conditions. Blind works the same way. You type a depth value. For example, set it to 15 millimeters. Then click OK. Now we created a 20 millimeter diameter hole with a 15 millimeter depth. Next is through all. It cuts all the way through. As you see, it goes to the end of the base. Now the hole is cut through the entire thickness. Next is through all both. It cuts in both directions. To make that clear, I'll sketch another circle on the right plane. Create a circle here. Now go to Extruded Cut. Choose through all both. You will see it cuts to the end on both sides of the sketch plane. So now we have a hole on this side, and also on the other side. Up to Next and up to Vertex work the same way as an Extruded Boss. We already used those options before. Now let's look at a few more settings. Here you have Flip Side to Cut. If you enable it, it removes everything except the region inside the circle. Now only the cylinder remains. It may also show an error because of another cut feature we created later. That is why you see the warning. All right. Another useful concept is feature order in the design tree, and how you can reorder features. For example, I sketch a center line here at an angle. Set the angle to 45 degrees. Now you can change the feature order in the tree. For example, click and drag the Cut Extrude feature down. First, exit the sketch. Now I can move Cut Extrude below. See, it updates at the end of the tree. This helps when you want later sketches to affect the cut direction. Now the cut comes after this angled line sketch. So we can use that line as a direction reference. Let's edit the cut feature. Set the end condition to through all, then select that line as the direction. Now the cut is created at a 45-degree direction. Click OK. And you can see the angled hole is created. So you can select a line and drive the extrusion direction of the cut from that line. Now let's delete this line sketch. Just like Extruded Boss, You can also add a draft angle to the cut. Using the draft option here. If you click this button, it flips the draft direction. Right now I think there is a small bug, so I'll reconnect the sketch and reopen the cut. Select the circle again. Set it to through all. Now you can see the angle gets smaller. If I flip it, the direction reverses. So you can create a tapered hole. And you can also do it with different profiles. That is the lesson for today. I hope it was helpful. See you next time.